Hello friends, looking at current affairs for 12th May. The news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 11. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, Supreme Court not to examine validity of polygamy. So we know a petition has been filed before the Supreme Court by Muslim women and some organizations who are questioning the constitutionality of triple talaq. The Supreme Court has now clarified that it will look only into triple talaq case and not examine the validity of polygamy. Also, a suo motu petition by the Supreme Court had been initiated on the question whether personal law practices violate the dignity of Muslim women. So this hearing has started now. The government as such is arguing in this case, stating that it is against all forms of triple talaq. So it says that Muslim women can seek divorce by approaching the court under the Dissolution of Muslim Marriages Act of 1939. So Muslim divorce initiated by women is under the eye of the judiciary. But for Muslim men, it is triple talaq, the way divorce occurs, which is not under the judicial eye. So that's why Supreme Court, the government has stated that they are against all forms of triple talaq, not just talaq-e-bidat, which is triple talaq in one go. So that is the case clarified here. Also, another matter which has been put forward is that triple talaq has been annulled as such, is not practiced in various countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh as well. So here too it is under the judicial eye that triple talaq, that divorce in Muslims take place. So that is what it wants. But then the opposition, the other party which is being represented by Mr. Kapil Sibal, the senior advocate, he has stated that in all these countries, when you are showing that divorce takes place through under the judiciary, it is done through a law. It's not by a judicial injunction. So what is required in this case too, a legislation can be brought in about how divorce should take place. So this point has also been put forward. And also other argument which has been put forth is that Muslim personal laws, whether they come within the ambit of Article 13 or not is a question. So Article 13 defines law. So laws cannot violate fundamental rights. So is Muslim personal law also a law under this definition? Then Muslim personal laws should also not violate fundamental rights. Is the question being asked as such? So this bench has to adjudicate on this matter, to decide on this matter as well. Then the next news item is government regulator gives nod for GM mustard. So GM mustard, which has been developed through government funding. So this has been done by Delhi University scientists led by former Vice Chancellor Deepak Pental. So this is a government funded project which has developed this mustard hybrid, which is called Dhara mustard hybrid, DMH11. So this GM mustard is genetically modified mustard. Its clearance is before the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. So this is the apex regulatory body for genetically modified seeds. So GM crop, the only GM crop which has been approved and commercially can be sown in the country is GM cotton, BT cotton as we call it. So that is BT is Bacillus thuringiensis. So the bacterial which is used for this genetic modification. So BT cotton is allowed. So GM mustard would become the second one to get approval and also the first one which is a food crop. Cotton is not consumed, but mustard is consumed. So that's the significance of this. This approval has been given by GEAC presently on 11 May 2017, and this approval was also given 7 years ago in 2010 as well by GEAC only. But then the GEAC's approval is not final. It has to finally be approved by the Environment Ministry. And then in 2010, Environment Minister was Mr. Jairam Ramesh, and he did not approve, given not to GEAC's clearance, saying that there is paucity of safety tests. So there should be safety tests in place that genetically modified food crop is safe for consumption. Only then approval can be given. So that time it did not happen. Now again GEAC has given approval and we are awaiting the Environment Minister's nod. So Mr. Dave, if he approves it, then it would be put into effect. So this is the news presently. DMH11. Also another point which has been put forth is that it's genetic modification. What is the purpose of this genetic modification is the question. So mustard as such is a self-pollinating plant, but this genetic modification which has been done means genes from soil bacterium which have been used in this. It says that this will make it better suited for hybridization. But then activists have claimed that DMH11 shows the same yield results than the existing varieties. There's no yield improvements. And what's the benefit of DMH11 is also questioned. So this is the case. This is regarding the GEAC, the statutory body under Ministry of Environment, which is mentioned here. So it gives approval for release of genetically engineered organisms and products into the environment. So this approval has been given presently for environmental release to and use in farmer fields too for 4 years by GAC. Then the next news item is monsoon may hit Andaman early. So this is regarding the Indian Meteorological Department's prediction for the monsoon. So it says that monsoon rains may set in early by 2 days. So Andaman and Nicobar Islands, where the monsoon sets in, this starts from around 17th of May, but it is as predicted presently. The Indian Meteorological Department says it may start 2 days earlier, but this will not affect the monsoon starting in Kerala. So generally monsoon sets in Kerala by 1st of June. So that is how it generally takes place. And the two phenomena basically which affect the Indian monsoon, they are discussed. This is El Nino and Indian Ocean Dipole. So what are these and how do they affect the Indian monsoon? We'll see. Plus presently the Indian Meteorological Department has said that the threat to the Indian monsoon from El Nino has receded. Means it has reduced. There may not be any El Nino condition prevailing. Also another phenomena, Indian Ocean Dipole. So what is this also we'll see. So this is likely to be positive. So when this is positive, then it compensates for the El Nino's negative effect. So that's how it is. So this a positive dipole buffered against El Nino's effects. So this is also expected. So what are these El Nino and Indian Ocean Dipole? We'll see. First looking at El Nino and La Nina. So you can see this is El Nino condition and La Nina condition shown. The map, you understand that first. This is South America. This is Australia, the Indonesia, Malaysia, Southeast Asian nations, and then across lies India. So when El Nino conditions prevail, what happens is the temperatures here, the ocean temperatures here become warmer than normal. So the warming than normal of the central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean. This is associated with El Nino. So when such conditions prevail, then El Nino sets in. So what happens is when ocean temperature is high, water temperature is high, then the air above it also becomes warm, and this warm air is light. Cooler air is denser and warm air is light. So when it is light, it goes up. So this circulation, you can see this goes up. Cloud formation takes place and precipitation means rainfall takes place here. So this is the cycle which develops and circulation, and you can see here when temperatures here are warm, here temperatures become cooler. So this is how, because it's a pressure gradient which is settled in. So this is how it happens. So temperatures here become cooler, so precipitation takes here only. There is no precipitation here, there is no rainfall here, and that's why the Indian monsoon is also weak, and we also are affected by drought-like conditions also. So this happens as such. And what is La Nina condition? La Nina condition is when the temperatures here become cooler than normal. So generally they are cool, and this is warm temperature is here in this part of the ocean. So because of this, same thing, warm air, it rises up, cloud formation takes place and precipitation takes place down here. So in Australia, when there's good rainfall, it has similarly in India also we have a good rainfall. So that is normal condition. What is La Nina basically is intense form of normal conditions. So when temperatures here are warmer than normal as such, and here temperatures are cooler than normal. So El Nino and La Nina are reverse, but La Nina is intense form of the normal conditions and El Nino is reverse form of the normal conditions, that way. So then this is very good rainfall here, and La Nina conditions means in India also we'll have very good rainfall. So it's beneficial for the country. And that is another terminology, El Nino Southern Oscillation. So Southern Oscillation, you can see this is the cycle in which the temperatures change as such. So this feedback loop is also called. What is this feedback loop? Is basically that the temperatures in the of the water body affect the temperatures of the air above it. So that is the feedback loop. So each strengthens the other. This warm temperature strengthens and makes the air above also warm. So that is called the feedback loop. And as this happens in an oscillation, it's called Southern Oscillation. So you can see. So most important driver of El Nino Southern Oscillation is temperature gradient across the Pacific. So that's why as the temperature gradient develops, this oscillation of the temperature takes place and El Nino La Nina conditions develop. And El Nino, the term is a Spanish term. It translates as boy child. So this is there. So it appears around Christmas. So that is why it is called boy child. And La Nina is girl child. So reverse of El Nino. So it's called La Nina. And Indian Ocean Dipole. What is this Indian Ocean Dipole? We'll see. This is also called Indian Nino. So this is irregular oscillation of sea surface temperatures in the Western Indian Ocean. So this Western Indian Ocean temperatures alternately become warmer and cooler than the eastern part of the ocean. So Western Indian Ocean is the Indian Ocean close to India, that is near the Bay of Bengal, and Eastern Indian Ocean is close to Indonesia and Australia. So this part. So if Western Indian Ocean temperatures are warmer, then it's a positive phase, and a positive phase is good for us. So when temperatures are warmer there, air above warmer, precipitation takes place. So that's why a positive phase is good for India and a negative phase is bad for us. So presently a positive phase is expected to develop, so that is beneficial for the country. So that is there. Then the next news item is ICJ writ may not be applicable to Pakistan. So this is regarding the International Court of Justice ruling, which we have discussed in news, that ICJ had ruled that Kulbhushan Jadhav case, in which the military court of Pakistan had sentenced him to death. In this case, the ICJ has stayed this order of Pakistan military court, but a fact is that Pakistan has sent a notification to ICJ in March 2017 saying that its commitments to ICJ stand revised and they are withdrawing all domestic and national security related issues from the jurisdiction of ICJ. So that is why how much consequences will this ICJ ruling have on this Pakistan military court's sentence as such, we'll have to wait and watch. Then next is, so one thing you should understand is that International Court of Justice is dependent on cooperation from the nations. If the nations do not cooperate, then there is nothing that can be done. Even USA has also withdrawn from various provisions under ICJ, and there is nothing that can be done. So this is another case now. The next is communal violence has dipped. So this is Union Minority Affairs Minister saying so. But then what is important in this news item is regarding Tehreek-e-Talim. So this is a campaign for education for the minority community, which will start in 100 districts in the country. And this will be launched on October 15, 2017. So this is the birth date of late President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So on this day, this scheme would be launched. So that is why you should know about this. Then next is Spider surface-to-air missile test fired. So this is a surface-to-air missile which has been procured from Israel. So this has been test fired by the Indian defense as such. So here you can see the details are also provided. So it was a successful test fire presently. So it's a low-level quick reaction missile. So this 4 spiders have been inducted and it has been started. Induction has started from Feb 2007. So it has a range of 15 kilometers. And the other missiles also are being mentioned here. So the Akash missile which we have, and then the medium range surface to air missile. So this is medium range surface to air missile system is a joint project of India and Israel. So here DRDO and Israeli Aerospace are cooperating. So 9 such surface to air missiles will be inducted as such. This has a range of 70 kilometers. So it's medium range. This is quick reaction, means short range, medium range, and then long range missiles which we have are S-400 Trump missiles which we have recently acquired from Russia in 2016. On the sidelines of the BRICS summit too in Goa, this was announced. Then the next news item is boost for defense manufacturers. So this is regarding the strategic partnership model which is being proposed to be finalized. So this will decide how private sector participation can take place in defense sector in the country. So this has not been finalized yet, but this is in news and will continue to be in news. So this says that in few months it would be finalized in the next couple of months. So this will keep coming in news. So what is this strategic partnership model is that private sector companies can have agreements with OEMs, original equipment manufacturers in various countries, and then through technology transfer they can have make in India in defense sector possible. So Indian companies can manufacture. So this has been the demand of various private sector companies in the defense sector, saying that they should have a long-term commitment order so that they can ensure make the investments and have the economies of scale too and make profits as well. Otherwise, private sector would not participate. So this is the reason why strategic partnership model is being finalized, and what is being proposed is that there will be 4 main sectors in which private sector participation would be sought. So this would be in fighter aircrafts, helicopters, submarines, and armored vehicles, including main battle tanks. So in this participation would be sought. So in each sector, one company would be selected based on its competence, and then they can tie up with this foreign OEM, original equipment manufacturer, and this would be also selected. The OEM would also be selected through procurement process, and then they can have significant technology transfer and develop the equipment. So this is there. Army forces say that they have apprehensions because if such a strategic partnership model is put into effect, then new technologies and new players would be blocked from coming into the defense sector, because once finalized, then it will be a long-term agreement. So then if there's a new technology, how would it be incorporated? If there are new players who want to come into the sector, it would not be possible. So this is a concern raised by the armed forces. Then the next news item is UK probes police's use of Indian hackers. So this UK police watchdog has come to know about, there are allegations that the investigating agencies in UK, Scotland Yard, had used hackers from India to illegally spy the email accounts of British journalists, environmental campaigners and activists. So this has been investigated into now. Then next is Yemen war threatens millennia-old mummies. So Yemen, there's a war going on in Yemen. Saudi Arabia-led coalition had initiated this war here against the Houthi rebels in Yemen. It started in 2015. So it has been going on since then. So these Houthi rebels are supported by Iran. So since March 2015, this war is going on, and this has affected the cultural heritage of the country as well. So the mummies which are present here, these mummies need chemicals for their preservation. They need electricity so that they can be maintained at a particular temperature. But because of the war situation where thousands of lives have been affected, there is a famine-like condition in the country. So these mummies are also in dire need for preservation. Plus Old Sana'a. So Old Sana'a is the capital of Yemen. So this Old Sana'a, the city here, has been inscribed on UNESCO World Heritage Site also since 1986. So it is on the mountain range, and you can see there are multi-storied homes made of red basalt rock. So these, you can see these arched windows. So this is the Old Sana'a, which is a World Heritage Site. So bombing has taken place in this region also presently. So that is a huge concern here. So now UNESCO has also put this ancient city Old Sana'a in the list of World Heritage in danger. So this is seen. So even Islamic State attacks in Syria's Palmyra, Libya region, here too it has been seen that the historical heritage here is looted and even sold in the black market to get funding for the war. So this is here. Then next is voluntary unemployment rising. So this is Bibek Debroy, the Niti Aayog member. He says that voluntary unemployment has been rising in the country. Involuntary unemployment means a person is unemployed involuntarily, means he can't help it, he's not getting the job. And voluntary unemployment is being stated as a person not taking up a job because of his educational qualification, is not ready to take up a job which is paying a salary lower than what he expects. The investment which is done in education in that sense. So that is called voluntary unemployment, and the Niti Aayog member says that that aspect is rising. So of course it's the government's responsibility to ensure that if education levels rise, then the employment opportunities also simultaneously should rise in those sectors. And the last news item is Center to release new series of IIP WPI data. So this is regarding Index of Industrial Production and Wholesale Price Index. So these new series will be released now. So these series will have their base year as 2011-12. So the base year is the year from which the comparison is done. So presently the base year is 2004-5. So this is planned to be changed. So this will come in line with even CPI, GDP and GVA base years. So for those also base years are 2011-2012. And the new IIP series will also include new technology items like tablets, smartphones, LED TVs, etc. So here the number of items would also increase. It's expected to be around 809 products. We have done 8 core industries. They are part of IIP, meaning electricity is the single largest product. So this will be remaining the same. 55 products will now be there in mining sector. So this is expected. So here it is shown here. It is also expected the base year may gradually change too, and number of items will increase. CPI, the base year is 2011-12. So here it's shown here the weightage of various commodities in CPI, then weightage of various commodities in WPI, plus the 2 other terms which we came across, GDP and GVA. So these are basic economic terms which you should know about. So what is GDP? Gross Domestic Product. Total income earned by domestic domestically located factors of production. Factors of production includes everything, good in with respect to goods, services, so wages in services, profits with respect to goods, rent taken or interest, dividends on assets, everything. So this is all that is produced, earned as such in the domestically located, means within the territory of the country. So that is called gross domestic product. So GDP is that. And what is gross national product? So this is the total income earned by the nation. So nationals means Indian nationals. There may be some Indians who are working abroad. There may be some foreigners who are working in India. So that has to be adjusted for. So that is called factor payments from abroad being added, which are coming from abroad, remittances, etc. So that is added minus factor payments to abroad. Means profits earned here, but then they are going back to their home country. So that way. So those would be deducted. So this gives you GNP. GDP plus factor payments from abroad minus factor payments to abroad gives GNP. That is called net factor payment. Then another terminology which was there was GVA, gross value addition. So this is total value of goods and services produced. So this is same GDP, it comes from GDP only, but in only value addition is taken. Means wherever any expenditure is done for value addition. So that is taken in. Means what, when taxes are added to the MRP. So what we are doing in GDP is MRP is taken. So in MRP taxes are also included and subsidies are also there. That subsidy is an expenditure done by the producer, production of the commodity or anything, but then it is provided for by the government. So that's why. So subsidies should not be deducted and taxes should not be added. So means GDP when taxes are deducted and subsidies are added, that will give you not the market value but the value of in the value addition which is done, means expenditure which is done in production of that goods or for that services. So that is called GVA, gross value addition. So that is there. Then there are terms nominal and real. So what the nominal and real stand for? So nominal, it can be anything, GDP, GNP, GVA. So nominal means at current prices, means there is no provision made for inflation. So what is it at current prices? That is the nominal value. Real value is at constant prices. So there's a comparison done based on a fixed year. So it takes account for inflation. So if inflation is resulting in prices increasing drastically, so that is adjusted for. So that is called real value, real GVA or real GDP. So at current prices, at constant prices. Provision made, not made for inflation, and in real provision made for inflation, adjusted for inflation. So that is it. So these are the news items. Thank you.